It is still with me. How did I evade the last day of how I escaped? We know it's the last day of our life. There's going to come one more last action. 10,000 Jews were into my town. 176 survive out of the 10,000. Who is one of them? Me. The Germans used to give us a present. They would pick the Jewish holidays and give us a big surprise, an action. And this was the second day of Shavuot. My mother gets up early in the morning. We were 3 families in one room in a small kitchen. She grabs me. We never got undressed. We slept in our shoes. We slept in our clothes because we knew that the attack will be immediate. My mother takes me and my little sister and she says, let's go. We walk. We run. We begin to run faster because the catastrophe has just started. We come to a peasant house whom my mother gave the last gold coins that she had, the last article of clothing, and he promised, you are giving it to me because your life will be saved with your 2 children. We come, we knock on the door, we come in. He said, get out of here now. Get out of my sight. My mother said, what are you talking about? Please, you promised. Let us stay at least the day. When this will be over at night, I want you out of here now. And my mother says, have pity on my children. Please, just let me stay those few hours in the day. When it gets dark, I will leave. Absolutely not. And then my mother, afraid to talk to me while she's negotiating with him, it's difficult.
Sure.
It's difficult. My mother gives me a look with her eyes, a desperate look. The very last face of my mother that I saw. Yes.
You're up.
God be gracious. I'm sorry. Oof.
Don't be sorry. It's so painful. Painful. It's so cruel.
So in my mother's position, she gave me a look with her eyes, afraid to say one word. I look at my mother, our eyes met, and she looks at me and she goes, I read in her desperate look what she was telling me. Now is the time. What I told you all the time. Leave us. Run. Save yourself. Why are you not everything that she said to me before? Mama, where should I go? Why are you pushing me away? She knew why. It's very hard. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm very sorry. I crawled onto the attic. I jumped. I went into the room. There was a storage. I had the strength of running from death. And without saying boo, without thinking, what do? I throw myself into the air and I find myself on the roof. I'm in such panic that my teeth cannot stay quiet. Oh my God, they will hear me. What did I do? I stuck my tongue between my teeth. I was bleeding. I cut myself in order to stop the sound. And when I fell down in that panic, I took a look and I saw a hole. I knew one way or the other, that's where I have to go. And I go in on my stomach, my feet first, in. I am finally in that hole. And I pulled down the rest of the straw and some of the dirt, leaving only one little place. For what? To breathe and to be able to see. It doesn't take more than maybe 20 minutes or a half hour. A German comes in and he is inspecting that house. And he comes up to the attic. My nose was away from him, maybe that much. And I try hard not to breathe. Impossible. Impossible. I felt if I don't breathe and my teeth are not chattering, he cannot know that there is somebody there. And he didn't. He had a flashlight. He was there minutes only. and he leaves. And that was my second chance of escaping death, but not completely. I spent there the rest of the day. The action started, as I told you, later than usual, but a whole day. I am standing in there, and all of a sudden, it's dark, and I am exhausted, and I fall asleep. I was angry. How could I permit myself to fall asleep and to be off guard? Can you imagine? I tried to force myself, pinching myself, hurting myself to be awake. After the night, the morning comes. I hear somebody coming up to the attic. He comes up and he says, "Who is here?" And I have to make a decision. Do I speak up or do I keep quiet? And I decided that if I don't, he's going to come up again with friends and they're going to look. How did he know? Why did he even suspect that there was a child there? I was a child that spent a whole day and a whole night, and I was urinating, and the ceiling started to be wet. Such elementary things. Sorry to discuss these things with you people, but that was my survival. And when I came out, he says, "Who is there?" I came out, and he says, "You were here when the Germans were inspecting my house?" He had a heavy stick and he had an axe. And he says, "Do you know what? I'm going to kill you right here." And he would have. He would have waited until night. He would have thrown down the corpse, dragged me out in the street and leave me in one corner. He would have. And I knew that I was in a very dangerous situation. I turned around immediately. It was a form. I blackmailed him. I had to blackmail him. I said, "Listen to me. If you throw me down and kick me out, it's daytime. I will go out and they will spot me right away. And they will say, 'Where were you hiding? Who was hiding you?' I will say, 'There was a nice man. He let me hide in his attic.' He said, 'But that's a lie. I didn't.' I said, 'But they will not believe me that it wasn't like that.' I said, 'Do me a favor.' I imitated my mother. 'Let me stay here the day when it's light outside, and I will not be able to be, I will be spotted. I promise you, as soon as it gets dark, you can come up.' He said, 'I will kill you if you stay another minute after it gets dark.' After the night, I went down, the door was opened, and I came out. He slammed the door behind me. I stood in front of that door, and I didn't know whether to turn right or left. I didn't know. And just by sheer coincidence, I decided to turn left. It turns out that there were boys gathering at the end of that street, Gentile boys, still looking, maybe a Jew will come here and there. I was lucky. I turned to the left. When the moon was under the clouds, I went like that. And when it came out, if somebody will see, they will see no movement. That was the end of that day. You want to know how I survived? I don't know. I don't know, people.